have the return of Philip Rivers coming out of a 5-year retirement, car Conyers, at the age of 44 to rejoin the Indianapolis Colts practice squad. I listened to a little bit of his interview he had today. Extremely excited to kind of be there. But I just don't understand what is good with this. I mean, I know they had a quarterback because at first I was telling you, oh, they don't just play Riley Leonard and whatnot. And then you're like, yo, he is fucked up too. And then I looked on ESPN. I was like, damn, Anthony Richardson on IR as well too. So they gotta get a quarterback. But I was just laughing too because when I was cooking earlier, I was listening to a little bit of Cam Newton's little segment, and I was like, yo, if y'all gonna pick up a nigga from the streets, y'all could have hit up someone else, but. I guess he's with that system. I mean, last year he was there. He was 11-5, had 24 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, threw over 400 yards. I mean, 4,000 yards. But it just doesn't make sense. I mean, it shows you how desperate that they kind of are. But Carl, he kind of old, man. Like, it's one thing to be like Aaron Rodgers, where your body is kind of used to it. You're in that mental and physical tip top shape. But it's another thing when you just been coaching from a high school level. You look like you out of shape. You look like you got a beer belly, all that. You don't look like you in shape at all. And I feel like it's a obviously you have those anomalies of older quarterbacks, but I feel like it's a young man's league. So I just don't know. Now in the era with quarterbacks, it's a mobile quarterback era. You pretty much the last of that dying breed with the Drew Brees, with the Peyton Mannings, and all other Tom Brady's, all those other quarterbacks as well too. So I know their game is predicated on the run game, and I think what made them also so lethal as well too is Daniel Jones is you have to account for him. He's a dual threat quarterback, so I think that kind of changes how their offense runs. But I think he, I think he low key one hit away from going back to home to his like 30 kids. But what are your thoughts on the return of Phillip Rivers, dog?
I think this is borderline elderly abuse. I do. They're especially they're already saying there's a chance he might start on Sunday. What? That is really insane, bro. I feel like he's about to go out there and get fucked up. And it's crazy and sad that they're putting this man out there. Uh, it's also crazy because he's eligible for the freaking Hall of Fame this year. Like that's how long he's been out of football. He's eligible for the Hall of Fame. And also what's crazy is they said like because right now he's on the practice squad, but if he gets elevated to the the actual roster, which it seems like he will, that resets his whole Hall of Fame clock, which is I mean, I guess clearly he doesn't care, but that's like another 5 years he's gonna have to wait. Um, but this is just nuts. It really is really, really nuts. It's already one thing seeing these old people out there like Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, but at least like those two were great in a way that Philip Rivers wasn't. Now he definitely was clearly a capable quarterback because he's in the Hall of Fame conversation, but I just think he's a different level than those other ones. Even like Drew Brees was playing when he was really old, but um, I'll say this, I saw something and I kind of agree that
Hmm.
this is more of like a symptom of just how terrible quarterback development has been. Like there
Mm.
should be plenty of options. I don't say plenty, but there should be options for you to go out and sign right now that don't involve you having to sign a 44-year-old who's coming out of a 5-year retirement.
Yeah.
But they don't try and develop guys anymore for real. And I mean, as we see with like the Daniel Joneses and Sam Darnolds and stuff like that, like they just give up on people almost immediately. They throw them out there, and if you don't figure it out, like, we look at like Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, some of the best quarterbacks of our generations, they all at least waited their first year. Like they all took that. Mahomes took 1 year, Rodgers and Brady was 2 years, I think, and I think Rodgers was 3 years, and I think Brady was two. Of like sitting and like developing and learning and stuff like that instead of just throwing guys out there. So I think it's also a symptom of a larger problem that this has even come to this. But yeah, it sucks. It's sad. I don't want to see Philip Rivers out there, but I do also want to see how this goes. So it's crazy. I mean, this is probably the craziest story to come out of the NFL this season.
Yeah, bro. But like when some of my friends and family members sent it, I was like, why y'all trolling? Like, like what's going on? And then when I saw like legit sources, I was like, oh, okay, all right. This
Yo.
is this is interesting. And this is the toughest stretch of games. I mean, they've already had a tough stretch of games, but to finish out the season, they got to go to Seattle with that defense that you just talked about. And then they host the 49ers, who's been playing really well this year. Then they got to go against their division to end it. They're hosting the Jaguars, and then they're going to be going up against the Texans in Houston. With that defense, you just saw what happened with Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. Phillip Rivers, and he can't move. Yeah, they're cooked. They're not making the playoffs, bro. They're about to be they're 8-5 right now, 6, 7, 8, 9. They're gonna be 8-9, bro.
Yeah, no, it definitely could turn. Unless like the only hope is that they have Jonathan Taylor. That's like the
Mhm.
only hope that they really have is he just has like some 200-yard games or something like that. But it's not gonna. And maybe I'll eat my words and it'll be the craziest sports story ever. But I do not
Bro,
think that
I
it's gonna be Phillip Rivers that's gonna win the mini games.
Bro, I was thinking about that too, but I was like, nah, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. I was like, yo, what if they make the playoffs and just run it? I would be so angry, but I mean, I guess happy for him, I guess. But
Yeah, I
I'd
mean
be
that would,
so
like I said,
angry.
that would be the craziest sports story ever. You know, like, we'd be talking about that for years. Like, damn, remember when Phillip Rivers came back from 5-year retirement and won a Super Bowl? Like, that would be
That's
nuts. But
that's
I don't
kind of
think it'll
goaded.
happen.
That might be worth 2 rings, nigga.
Yeah, no, it would. That would put him whenever that 5 years come around again, he would be a first ballot Hall of Famer if he did some shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm definitely going to try to tune in a little bit to that Seahawks Coast game just to see how he looks if he is considered the starter for week 15.